Hi YouTube, Suki here with some more thoughts for you. Today my thought is about ICE. So this is gonna be one of our more controversial topics, and I think one of the most important topics of the Trump presidency. I put up a video here just in case you wanna have some sort of background on the liberal argument against ICE, but there's no particular video I'm really reacting to. It's just a general stance of the left. Um, let me preface this video by saying two things so you know what you're getting into. Number one, this video will be supportive of ICE. Number two, if we could just legalize 20 million immigrants, whether illegal or not, and solve the issue, I would be all for it. I would just say like, just pull the band-aid just to solve the issue once and for all. Go ahead and do it. All right. Essentially, the liberal argument is that we're being too harsh on immigrants, whether illegal or not, of whatever status, and we're deporting too much without the rule of law. That's simple to understand, right? And honestly, if you're watching ICE on the streets, you can probably say that yes, they are acting very harshly. All right, now that's the easy part. And again, another easy part is to remind you that if we could just legalize 20 million people to have this problem go away, then fine. Just to make the problem go away forever, then that's great. We'll just bite the bullet. However, that's the misconception about this problem. Everyone thinks that this problem is a local problem, it's a domestic problem. It's not, it's a global problem. See, when you legalize 20 million people, you give hope to everyone in South and Central America, in Africa, and in Asia to come to the US. So the next thing you know, once you legalize 20 million, you'll have 100 million claiming asylum. Once you legalize those 100 million, you have now 400 million claiming asylum. Everybody wants to move from their poor place in Southeast Asia or Africa or wherever into the US. Now, do they only want to move to the US? No. If they could move to China, they could move to Europe, France, Britain, whatever they'd be happy to do that too. It just so happens that the US is one of the destinations, and they are looking for the destination that is most friendly to them. Now, why does ACT need to act this way? See, the number one thing driving all of this is not really their condition at home, although that's part of it. The number one thing is hope. They have hope that if they get to the US, they will have a better life. Unfortunately, and as much as it pains me to say this, that hope has to be killed. Is it harsh? Yes. Is it a world you don't want to live in? Probably yes. But the other side of the world is the refugee crisis that Biden had on his term last election, where when you shipped like 100 people to New York or something, they would cry and say that they couldn't handle it or whatever. All the while, all the border cities are handling like 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000 people. So that will keep happening over and over again if you allow people the slightest glimmer of hope. See, it doesn't it's not correct to say that the people like in Venezuela, in China, in like Brazil or whatever, are poor and downtrodden. Why? You have to have resources to go to the United States. You need to be able to pay somebody to get to the US. You need to pay for your food. You need to pay for your transportation if there's a stretches that you have transportation for. If you're going by ship into the Mediterranean to go to Europe, you have to pay for that. So in effect, the people um, the people moving are using the funds that should be circulating inside their economy and giving it to like criminals and whatnot to get to the U.S. Now they're doing that because they have hope that the investment will pay back. However, if ICE acts the way it is, then then that means that they have no hope that that they will have their investment returned. In fact, everything will get worse for them because they spent all this money to go to the U.S. and then they go home with nothing to show for it. Now, that's really bad because number one, sometimes they don't even have that money themselves; they have to borrow it, or more likely, number two, that money was everyone pooling the money and giving it to the strongest person with the most chance to get to the U.S. in the hope that once he gets to the U.S., he sends remittances home to repay the people who got them there, who got him there. So the system as it currently is weakens the economy of the people in the third world countries and gives everything to the people smugglers. And then it overburdens the US because if we keep allowing them in, we won't have enough resources for ourselves. Now, there might be people saying, "What? But how about the immigrants in the past? It's now a rug pull. Some immigrants in the past were able to benefit the system from the system, and now you're pulling that the ladder up." That is correct. We're pulling the ladder up. Um, there are certain systems that may have worked 50 years ago that does not work now. For example, slavery was working 100 years ago. Would you like to reinstate it? No. So, laws change. That is a fact. If the law is no longer working for the country, then then the law should be removed. Okay. Now let's get to the alternative history. Did we have to live this way? The answer is no. We did not have to live this way. In the past, there was a kind of tacit agreement that you would only seek refuge or you would only seek asylum if you truly, 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 truly had fear for your life, and you had to go. You had to really leave. And at that point, since that there were so few people who actually had that fear, the immigration system could handle the load to an extent, and while the people let in were low, it was uh, it was low enough that it wouldn't cause undue social stress to the country, social and economic stress. Honestly, the economic part is more important than the social part. If you fix the economy, if you fix the economic portion of it, the social part is easy to fix. Now, somehow, somewhere along the way, and if I'm gonna be honest, this is gonna probably have come from some liberal human rights lawyer. They were they the refugees or the illegals were given the idea that everyone could claim asylum. Everyone could say that they were in fear for their lives. Everyone could say that they were gay. Once that happens, the U.S. has to let them in, and then the U.S. would have to adjudicate their case one by one. And since there are so many people, then that means that the system is overloaded. Now, you don't have unlimited budget, so you can't just keep feeding in judges. Now, but what the next thing you'll say is that, oh, but what if we just add more judges into the system? Then we can decline more cases. Then we can send more people home. Let me ask you something. Do home countries accept the refugees back? We have to literally twist arms to get them to accept refugees, asylum seekers back. It's not a simple thing to do. So in addition to adjudicating the cases, we have to make additional concessions just to get them to take the refugees back. In fact, for some cases, you might even have to pay the refugees themselves just to go back. It's not a sustainable system. As long as there is hope that you can have a better life by being an illegal in the U.S., um, that system will perpetuate. Now, you should have hope of a better life if you go through the proper system of asking for citizenship and all of that, because that means that we can take the people that will have value to the economy and will probably succeed in the U.S. All right, so Having established that, what's my solution to all of this? Because I do like to provide solutions. I would actually like to challenge the Democrats to agree to something. Grand bargain style. Number one, we legalize 10 million immigrants or asylum seekers or whatever you want to call them. I think that should be that might be doable but painful. The rest go. The rest go home, no matter what. They go home, no human rights, no nothing. No due process, no nothing. Number two, um, we withdraw from any treaty that mentions the word refugee. We do not accept any refugees, period. Now, does that mean that we never accept any refugees at all? No, we can accept refugees. However, um, it would take like a special act of Congress. It would be very slow. It would only be for a very small amount of people. You can pass a law to accept as like for example, let's say that there's a 10-man group from Russia, I guess, who was oppressed and then whatever, and we didn't have a refugee law. Then fine, Congress can come up with a law. Uh, this law grants citizenship to XYZ, and welcome to the US. So, but I want that to be a very, very, very hard process with multiple politicians accountable because, again, we cannot accept unlimited people. And more importantly, number three, no more birthright citizenship. So, grand bargain, 10 million refugees accepted, no questions asked. They can vote as soon as the next election, however painful that is. No more refugees, period. And no more birthright citizenship. But the left will never accept that because they kind of want the refugees because they think they'll vote for them. And of course, they have this chip on the shoulder that says the U.S. is responsible for all the evils in the world, despite the fact that these refugees can get to the U.S. because they're getting protected by the American Navy to go to their ships and whatever. Uh, it's a it's if you think about it, it's not a hard issue to solve. It just requires you to harden your heart and to do what's best for the country as a whole, instead of doing what makes you feel good, which ironically then makes it hard to do. All right. Well, thank you very much for listening to me today. I will catch you guys later. Have a great day.